Hey there everybody, and welcome back to more Sword of Etheria. So before we get headed into Chapter 17, I am going to put on one new piece of equipment, the Spirit Ring, which gives me additional Yellow Etheria. And the reason that I am putting this on is for one very particular reason, and that's because, well, I hate to say it, but I'm having to play this stage on easy, just so I can get a good ranking on it. And we'll see why in just a second. And say hello to the final area of the game. This white, barren landscape is home to nothing really new in the way of enemies, but it does have one very, very dangerous addition, what the objective there is calling a black lump, which in actuality is small black holes. Now, we don't see it initially, but yeah, it's waiting back there in the background, waiting, watching, ready to strike. And that's part of the reason why I'm doing this on easy. Now, it's not to say that the game really penalizes you for playing on easy. You can pretty much still unlock everything that you would need to, or that you would want to, if you played on easy. I think that there might be a couple of accessories that you can only get by playing on hard, and you don't really get anything additional on normal. I think you might get a small down ranking at the end, but you can probably make up for that getting S ranks in other areas, which is part of the reason why I put on that Spirit Ring, just hoping that I can pretty easily get the S rank in the Etheria ranking, rather than having to just bang my head against the fucking wall with the stage, because even with the amount of skill I think that I've managed to accrue by playing this game for about a total of 30 to 40 hours, at least if my save file is to be believed, this particular level still manages to be pretty difficult. Now, there are some key changes in the difficulty within the stages themselves, namely in the enemies that show up, such as in that first little arena down there. I think instead of just the baseline projectile enemies and like the baseline frogmen, there would have been like the blue upgraded versions that fire a little bit quicker. Also, for this particular stage, the black holes will start to move a little bit quicker. Now, you might be saying, well, for one thing, you might be saying, my god, is this chest the final boss in the game? And no, this chest is just something of a mild trap, but it's one you want to get out of the way because, well, this is where the collectible is for the level. But no, it's just trying to waste your time because, yeah, that black hole that we saw at the start of the level is slowly chasing us. And when I say slowly, I don't mean that it's chasing us as fast as it could be, because I think I'm playing on easy, which I think slows it down. But yeah, on normal, it becomes a problem very, very, very quickly. And it's not to say that it won't be a problem for me. It's just it'll be less of a problem on easy, which is it's for the best. Because well, I mean, I guess they would be worth showing off at least one level on the easy difficulty. There are, I know I say like there's just a few changes here and there, but I think one of the nicer changes is that it seems on easy that along with the yellow, green, and blue Etheria, the enemies will also start to drop red orbs, which are just very, very easy ways to fill up your tension meter in case, you know, you're having trouble, which, you know, if you're playing on easy, you probably already have troubles to begin with. But, you know, it makes things a little bit nicer for me, just because, you know, death blow multipliers and all that really works better. But yeah, if I recall correctly, in this large arena here, I think the most noticeable difference between easy and normal is that normally I think there would be 2 frogmen to each one of these orbless altars here, which it may not seem like much, but when you're already racing against time, even dealing with, you know, 4 additional enemies oddly spaced out can really, really, really strain things. But, you know, just a part of me, just to go into the, I guess, overall aesthetic of this stage and this final environment here, it seems initially a bit minimalistic. You know, it's just a barren white wasteland. It doesn't seem to have the elemental effects that we've been seeing for the other areas so far in Theologia. But I think if you keep in mind that there are apparently roving black holes stripping everything and laying a path of destruction in their wake, if you think about it in that sense, I guess this environment makes some reasonable thematic sense. It's probably to say that I don't know. I'm not even certain if these black holes would be something like a security system or maybe a cleaning system that the gods install. It seems to be doing more harm than good to this area of Theologia because, well, much like Sodom and Gomorrah in the Bible, things have pretty much been turned to salt here. And this place is it's kind of a desolate hole. But we can't let the environment dissuade us. There's still plenty of hot action to be had here, and yeah, I remember specifically this fight in normal, just normal, was pretty bad because, well, along with that big rock asshole back there, there would also be 2 of the upgraded sword and shield guys together, and yeah, I mean, it's good for Etheria if you manage to, you know, get juggles on them and do all that stuff, but it's also very time consuming because they are blocking constantly and have a massive health pool. And also, I mean, if you're worried about Etheria, I can sincerely tell you that it's easy enough to grind stages, and also it's easy enough to wear the spirit ring and kill 1 enemy and get like a third of your total Etheria. This game is a bit weird when it comes to its currency system. And I have learned that from, like I said, many, many, many hours of playing.
Here we go! Amira! Got it! Leon!
Yeah, here we see one of, I guess, the main issues of playing on easy is that sometimes you can run out of enemies or have them spaced out pretty largely. Sometimes makes finishing these larger arenas a bit tedious. Though I think that's more of the overall design for this stage, because it really means for you to waste your time trying to run around these large arenas, hacking away at the weirdly spaced out enemies.
Here we go!
I suppose if you are planning to your full possibility, you could probably knock enemies into each other from longer distances. But I'd never found that to be a really good strategy for this stage.
Feel it! You're going down! Return to the Sword of Etheria! Amira! Right away!
Also, this arena isn't too different from normal to easy. I'd say the one largest change for it is the fact that on normal it does have one additional enemy, which I think is one of those upscaled long-range enemies that kind of do like a Death Blossom of lasers. And it can easily make you run around trying to catch it while, tagging each one of these other enemies and having it all draw on you at one time. But, well, I guess at this point we are getting closer and closer to finishing off the gods. I don't think there aren't too many gods left, but we still don't know too much about their story. They're still pretty much a mystery. And we at least learned in that last chapter something important about Phil here, with him being Cain's son, which I guess that makes sense. We never find out that Cain was married or anything, but yeah, that's at least some story. The game is pretty light on the story or explanations or additional gameplay mechanics, but it's okay because it's not a terribly long experience. I feel like your Devil May Cries out there are probably 2 to 3 times as long. But still, it probably would be nice if there were more cinematics, or maybe if the dialogue explained some more things. But I don't know. Maybe the endings will elucidate just what's going on. Though they really won't. It's a spoiler from a person that has seen some of the endings. They give some explanation, but not a lot. Not a lot. But yeah, this right here is pretty much the final arena for this stage. We did have a few branching paths there in the previous arena, but you really just need to head down the center main path to really get to the end. The other two just have some enemies that I guess you can kill for some extra Etheria, or if you really wanted to deal with black holes. Because, yeah, you probably saw there that the black hole has finally caught up with me. Even though I have been I've been going at a pretty good pace. And this is on easy, which means that the black hole would probably have gotten here a lot sooner. Yeah, this is dealing with the black hole. You can't really outrun it, at least not forever. And once you get caught up in it, it does a little bit of damage.
It looks like it temporarily stops moving if something gets pulled into it.
And when I say a little bit of damage, I mean that when you have max health, it'll probably take out about a fifth. So, yeah, that's another reason I really have no inclination to show this level on normal, because what you just saw there, you probably would have seen a lot more. The good news is that, well, you can knock enemies into it to slow it down, but you also don't get any Etheria from that, and you're more than likely going to run the risk of getting knocked into it yourself. But, well, I thought we were done here. There was one sneaky flying enemy waiting to run away from me, but, yeah, we won that fight. Good. Hooray. And now, without further ado, it's time for a pretty difficult boss fight.
There's no end to all of this.
Ah, come on. Think a little guy like this is gonna stop us now? You lazy gods, why don't you come out and face us yourselves? Well, they really are coming out to face us.
No. Look.
What's with that thing? I've never seen a god like that before.
No, I don't think it's a god. I think it's something even worse. I've never seen the Etheria this scared.
If it's not a god, then what?
I don't know what it is, and I don't care. All I know is we gotta tear through that thing!
And say hello to a pretty unique boss fight with Negrito here. Now, why this fight is pretty unique is mostly in the fact that this guy is not a creation of the gods. Now, while you don't immediately know this, there are a few hints that you're given, or allowed to infer from just the fact that he is not something made by the gods. First off, Leon was pretty confused by him. And even though, you know, it's not to say that the Katinas are all-knowing about the gods' actions, but he seemed legitimately confused by everything that was going on. Also, it seems, at least from the cutscene, that that rock asshole was possessed by something, and I guess that's to explain the overall look of Negrito here. But yeah, also, I think the final hint that this thing is not something made by the gods is just in the weird reactions that the frogmen are having towards it. They seem to be just running over to it, and I think that they're supposed to be trying to attack it, but they just never do. Which is understandable, because getting into melee range of this guy, not the smartest idea. He has some pretty dangerous long-range attacks, mostly allowing him to send out tornadoes that will slow you down and do damage, and yeah, he tends to teleport a lot, which is usually around the time that you are trying to pull off, you know, death blows, which, yeah, that's, it's not the funnest thing to deal with. There are a pretty constant stream of frogmen that you can build up tension with, but the problem is that more often than not, they are running over to the boss to get instantly killed. And, well, that's probably going to lead to you also getting hit, so yeah, this fight is not an easy fight, especially if you're trying to finish him off with a death blow. But with a little bit of practice and just knowing the fact that he is probably going to teleport, well, with a little bit of caution, you should be able to take him down relatively easy, at least with a little bit of practice. Just after a while, you're probably going to have to resort to level 1 death blows. Don't even assume that you're going to get an over zenith on this guy, because it's probably not going to happen. especially with that downward tornado that he'll do. That will more often than not destroy the guy that you're currently trying to juggle. But I think all we need is one more death blow, and that should be the end of the stage. So yeah, even with that being our first stage on easy, still was not a very easy fight. But we still managed to just barely get an A. And with that, I'll see you next time.